So it's going to be 3, 2, 1.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
All right. We all good? We all good? That's for Mark. All right. 3.
That was perfect. All right, let's go.
Actually, that probably worked because these mics are single channel, so you guys both got it.
You're brilliant. Good. So,
All right.
go. So, well, no, actually, that was already the intro. So let's just go.
Yeah. So welcome to the
Go.
welcome to the not professional.
Nope.
Yep.
That up. Can't do that one anymore.
Welcome to the Not Just League podcast.
Yeah.
There it is.
Oh, good. That was a great start. All right. So, what are we talking about?
All right. Welcome to Not Just Fleet. Together, we have a lot of decades of experience in the automotive and fleet sphere. So, thank you all for joining us. As you can see, we are crammed in the corner suite out here at NAFA, overlooking.
Or as some of us might say, NAFA.
NAFA.
But also, we have to remember nobody puts baby in the corner, so we can't be.
Big NAFA guy.
Big man.
NAFA.
So anyway.
Knocking at your door. Hold on, let me go in. You're right back. No, but if somebody just knocked.
Oh, this is really starting off great. All right, that's how the whole episode's going to go. All right, we're going to jump into it. We're going to talk about 100 best. We're going to talk about NAFA, our time here in the beautiful, not gray city of Cleveland, my hometown. You boys are my guests right now. What do we love about Cleveland? What didn't we love about Cleveland? Let's start there.
Hold on, I need to stop this whole thing right now. This
Here
is
we
the
go.
first time we've ever done a live podcast
Yeah, it is.
all together in the same room.
Yeah,
This is
yeah,
like
yeah.
monumental stuff.
It
for
is.
us.
Yeah.
I am going to cut and edit this so that we are all in a computer screen.
Well, wait.
No, that's way too hard.
I actually was pleasantly surprised with Cleveland.
Yeah,
Like,
100%.
especially there was a couple neighborhoods that I went through. I was like, please don't break down Uber. But there was a park, and like there was a cemetery there where Rockefeller's buried.
Oh, yeah,
It
okay.
was like a cool park, and
Well, monument,
the
yeah.
downtown's pretty cool. I mean, it's
Yeah.
nice.
Cleveland definitely has a lot of nice parks.
Stop staring down the camera lens, you noob. We're talking to each other.
We are, but
This
I'm
is a
talking to the audience. Also, I'm excited for Pittsburgh next year. It looked like that montage looked very. And I never thought, as a Cleveland boy, I would be saying I'm excited to go to Pittsburgh. But I'm very excited to go to Pittsburgh next year. It looked really nice. I will say the parks, everything here was nice. Excuse me. Everything here was nice. Went to the museum earlier. That was a lot of fun.
That
The
Auto
Cleveland
Museum
Police Museum was
for
great.
sure.
Oh yeah, we went to the Auto Museum first
Yeah.
day too.
Yeah.
It was good. Food was good. Things to do around town was good. All along good event.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's definitely been a good time out here. I got to say, the street racing scene, pretty intense.
Yeah.
Every night.
Every night out here, but we almost got taken out by a freaking race going down the freeway leaving from the airport. There's
Like a bunch of cars.
yeah, there's like 6 cars and a motorcycle, and they were all doing probably 110 plus.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Because I can't wait to get out of here.
Yeah, we should have them at the event.
No, they were coming into town.
Oh.
I was definitely pleasantly surprised with Cleveland. This is the second time I was here, but obviously I didn't have a tour guide like yourself or one of our great friends, newly nicknamed Matty Diamond,
Matty
is
Dude.
just an explorer. I mean, he just gets out there. He just
Yeah.
goes and finds things.
Yeah.
Street glizzies, which you
Oh,
missed today, were
okay.
fantastic.
Those are so
Where
good.
was that?
Those are so good.
Right at the corner of the park down
You
there.
can see her umbrella still.
Yeah,
all the way
yeah,
down
right
to the
there.
corner. Yeah.
Literally right there.
Oh, I
Yep.
see.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
We made her day with that nice too.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
She was
Listen,
very happy.
My Cleveland people know too. I made them do the street glizzy with stadium mustard.
Yeah.
Stadium mustard was
Wait, there's a Chicago version of a dog. So
Yes. It's just water, hot dog. Probably dropped on the ground a few times, but it adds a character. It's
But
funny.
you know what? What are you supposed to add to it to make it unique? Anything?
We have a stadium mustard here that's very popular from like the Guardians Indian Stadium. That's a huge thing down here. They would sell it.
Does that come out of the urinal or is
Yeah, well, it funnels through. It gives it a unique Cleveland flavor, a little zing, a little zest, and you're in.
It almost gave me the bite of like a stone ground mustard, but I
Yeah.
wanted a little bit more mustard seed.
Yeah.
I needed a little bit
Gotcha.
more punch to it. But the lady was great,
It
and
was wonderful.
you know, I think, did a great job. Something that we learned, I think, in our days as leaders to make sure that we're very appreciative of her service. And Maddie D gave her a very nice tip, and
Yeah.
we definitely made her day. She was happy when we left.
Thank you, corporation that we're going to leave unnamed.
Yes,
Yeah.
right. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Good old diamond hands.
Yeah. So I guess all in all, right? If it was you're a baseball fan, you're a basketball fan, football, you want to do like a boys trip or something like that, there is definitely good times to be had.
There's a lot to do out here. Like, surprisingly, way more than I would ever give him credit for.
Yeah,
So, you know,
Now,
Are
and
we getting paid by like the Cleveland downtown?
The district.
Big difference?
yeah. Shout out to Cleveland. There'll be a link in Google. Go ahead and Google.
To visit Cleveland.
Yeah.
I think everybody should just be aware, when you're walking down the sidewalk, there may be a chance to step in maybe some human
It's mud.
feces
It's just
or
mud. It's just
dog. We didn't know what it
That's
was.
any downtown though.
anyone out there that works on a Vector, it's just mud.
And then, we took a little trip, maybe a wrong turn through the parking garage, and we saw a lot of women's panties in there. So,
This can't make the podcast. This must be on tape.
Oh, all right. So we're gonna jump tracks here because we're getting off track, having a good freaking time. All right. So our big boy Mikey V here.
Yeah.
Yeah. You made 22 on Justice here.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah. So I'm not saying names, but your agency did a wonderful freaking job.
Yeah.
Good job on that.
Great. I think great.
I'm really sorry for the pressure that you got, because
Man, I did not expect 22 right off the rip. That was very interesting. It's going to be hard. I mean, it's not going to be hard. I have a great team. I have a strong team. But to continue to improve from there, because now obviously, the thought is, Shane's going to want more improvement. They're going to want to see us go up every year, which we should, because we're doing the right things to make it happen. So now it's just putting pen to paper. And I think one of the biggest things, which people kind of get caught up in, I think we all kind of talk about this when it comes to 100 Best, it's how you present your story.
for sure.
It's how you present what you're doing for your people, things like that. And everybody kind of wants to do data or long stories or long-winded or chat GPT, and they don't edit anything that's huge. You need to be very honest and personal and explaining your story, which I think we did very well this year. All my chain who reviewed it, they gave me a lot of great advice, a lot of great feedback. So it's exciting where we landed. I'm excited to see what we can land next year, too.
So, what was the other sheriff's office there in Florida that was in the top 10? That's going
Palm Beach County.
Palm Beach, yeah.
PPC, yeah. So you all got to take him down.
Oh man, he's a killer. He's
yeah.
great.
He is,
Rob?
but
No, Jeffrey Hawthorne.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Yep.
So I think the thing too is you have to be strategic with the story,
Mhm.
and nobody is going to be fraudulent with information or things like that. But the main thing that I took away from the roundtable downstairs is they want to see your initiative. They want to see the story, right? So if there's information that you've been reporting on year after year that maybe didn't get better or something like that, look at some of the other stuff that you're doing
Right.
to make yourself better and to constantly improve. And one of the guys was saying downstairs today, well, hey, if this is your 10th time applying, what do you do to make the 11th application different? And it's the initiatives. And when he made that comment, I
Who said
kind
that, by
of
the way?
the guy from I think he was from the pest control place.
Yeah.
Was that the guy from that Fox Pest Control? And he's
Oh,
really
who
the
gave
guy.
it-
oh
He
yeah,
gave the response.
Mike was giving him shit over it though, because he was like, "What are you doing to do better?"
Right.
And he's like, "I haven't even applied yet." He goes, "I don't care. What are you doing to do better?
Yeah.
How are you improving your operation?" And that's definitely the goal of the entire thing. And he's very happy for my team. 4th year in a row now. We did drop back a couple spots. We're 73rd. But I'm not mad at it because, well, like Mike, this was your first time applying. He was ahead of us on the list. So, all right, cool. So we went from 70 to 71 just by him existing.
Right.
And I know that there were more fleets that added on that were ahead of us in line that ended up actually pushing us back. So I think if it was the same group as last year's application, I'm betting we actually probably moved up 10 or 12 spots.
Oh,
And just the new additions of the competition just setting it off. It's
Did anybody get their total scores?
not yet. I have with you.
I did. I don't remember it though, but I do know what they said the total between.
It was 22 points from first place to number 100.
Yeah, for last
Uh,
one. Yeah.
Was it a 1,000-point system or a 100-point system?
No, I think that's
100.
yeah.
It's a
Because he
100-point
said
system.
he
So yeah,
said that.
the average was 70 points. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, so fantastic job by everyone out there. And like that was another point that I brought up in the after meeting was we have our friend group that we push each other, we chat with each other, and we're always trying to do this. So in your agency, ridiculously important to involve everyone in the application and the process improvement to be able to get better. But equally important, have your management group that knows the struggles and understands everything and talk it out. Have fun with it.
I
and
think
hold each other
you-
accountable.
The main takeaway from this year's judges on people's placement was there was way more people that applied.
Mhm.
And they said it was the hardest year they've had since they took it over from Tom Johnson to
Yeah.
score the contest.
Yep.
So I mean, going back to what you said, where you went back a couple of notches. So number one, more people have applied.
Yep.
And number two, this contest pushes everybody's fleet to get better and better each year.
Right.
So everybody in front of you is getting better.
Yeah.
You're still getting better. You're still on the list, top 75. I mean, that's still a
Oh, yeah.
ton of people applied.
Not mad at it at all.
Right.
And like I said, you cannot hold stagnant when the pool is growing.
Right.
We're advancing. We dropped spots officially on the list. However, the pool has gotten, what is it, 20% larger in applications.
Amazing. It's amazing.
We didn't lose 20%. We held our ground pretty firmly. So again, congratulations to the team.
I wonder if they're ever could they add like a small portion of this to. I think we kind of found out today. I wonder if there ever becomes a portion of like where they do how GFX does it, where there's fleet sizes and because it's getting so
Yeah, they
large.
did like what utility.
Yeah.
Plus.
Emergency management
Yeah.
and things like that. Yeah.
Yeah, so there's a couple things I'm thinking. One, can you do the voice editor? Because when I'm looking over here, I feel like the like the guy that's blacked out, like that's like the protected witness program. I can either confirm or not. But anyway, so I was just
Put
thinking.
your hands over.
Yeah.
I was born in the dark.
So one for all is for all. So like success for none of us or anything really, or very few, looks like this, right? Or whichever way in the camera, right? It looks like that all the time. So
Yeah.
like
You're up and down. It's not stable.
I talk to a lot of people. They're like, "Oh yeah, we dropped, how many points or whatever." There's some people that dropped 40, 50 spots.
Yep.
But I think that's why the score is important because you might have actually gone up over the score, and that's all that matters. Is
Everything compressed.
Yeah.
You did better, but everything compressed, so you slid.
yeah, but at the end, yeah, exactly. But at the end of the day, if you're benchmarking your KPIs against another fleet, it doesn't mean anything because they're different. You're benchmarking against yourself.
Yep.
So that's one really important question that I think people need to be asking, especially those that have dropped on the rankings, but their score still might be the same or better. That's what.
So speaking of dropping on the rankings, the standout star in our
Oh
group,
yeah, 100%.
Oh, and there's something that we didn't
That's what I
tell.
was gonna say. Yeah,
and
So why don't you tell?
I totally. You can tell the audience.
So we were talking with a judge when we were taking some selfies out by the posters or the whatever they are. And he said to us, we were talking about the private fleets, and he said any of the top fleets could have been number one, and you were number three. So that was pretty awesome.
so round of applause if you didn't hear.
Yeah.
Number 3.
Number
So
3 for commercial. How huge is that?
placing number
Great.
3 on the commercial list is amazing because of the competition. The woman who won the Tom Johnson Award, the inaugural Tom Johnson Award, is part of Florida Power and Water.
Like
Like,
Yeah.
they have vehicles all
it's a
over.
massive fleet.
Massive fleet, a lot of experience, a lot of resources to tap into to get this information. my biggest takeaway from this year was once you applying the first time is so difficult. Once you apply, no matter what is going on in your business, in your municipality, you have to keep applying. I was by myself for all of October, all of November, all of December, managing a bunch of stuff, trying to hire a new technician, doing all this stuff. And when it came down to it, I still pushed through the application and got it done. And that's like, hey man, we're doing this, we're benchmarking ourselves. It's got to be important not only to you, but you need to make it important to the rest of the team to get that done as well. So number 3 is great. The Spire utility company that came in second. I mean, they're a massive fleet as well. Tons of funding, tons of support. Great guys. The gentleman, I think his last name is Kaiser. He won like Fleet Professional of the Year last year. So I mean, all these great people that you rank alongside, it gives you that justification that what you're doing is the right stuff. Because unfortunately, on a day-to-day basis, we don't get that recognition with inside our own fleet or potentially from our leaders. So thank you guys. It's definitely an honor to even be on the list with you guys. That's amazing.
One other thing you said, which was important, you remember that first time you applied? A couple times you were like, I'm not going to do it. And I'm like, no, fuck, you're going to do it.
Right.
And, there was a few times, and I think once you get over the initial hurdle, because I've talked to a lot of people that were like, no, I'm not doing it. And they gave me every excuse. And I would always say to them, so this time next year, you're not going to have budget season? Or you're not going to be busy?
Right.
Like, what are you not going to do next year that you're doing this year? It's going to be the same. Well, what are we doing here?
Right.
Just apply.
Well, a lot of people are just afraid of not even place. But you can't be afraid of not place. I mean, like, you have to compare yourself amongst your peers so you can see where you're at. What do you, I mean,
This also forces you to track your own shit.
right.
So if you're not tracking yourself effectively,
Right.
much less the benchmarking is great, but this at least forces you once a year you're looking at it. You shouldn't be looking at it all year, but at least once a year you're looking at your shit, getting it put together. And yeah, it's such a good program. So anyway, so we're gonna jump off of Hunter Best. I think we've probably killed that one. I know we've done a couple episodes about it, but congrats to everyone again.
100%. Everyone.
Round of applause.
So jumping off, and I know we don't try to shout out businesses too awful often. I know we've done it a couple times, but what was your, with or without saying the vendor name, what on the show floor on the expo hall grabbed your attention and you're like, you know what, this was freaking cool? Because I had a couple. First one, there's a convenience store chain that is national. They had a soda fountain in their booth that was functional.
Yeah.
That was great. That was brilliant.
Yeah.
Everyone is thirsty walking around. They had their own proprietary Mountain Dew blend.
Yep.
They had Pepsi and they had unsweetened iced tea, and they did have water. They have a little water option on there.
I got the water.
They had, I think they had ice in the bin some of the time.
I skipped it.
Yeah. But that was pretty cool. Like, and then they had that little competition thing that it was, they had a fake gas pump that was interactive, and if you were able to hit the target value that they told you to hit, you would get a $5 gift card or whatever.
Dude, they had somebody in there doing caricatures, which I didn't know what the person was doing.
Yeah.
I thought they were doing like podcast shoot or something, and then I looked and the guy was drawing caricatures in the booth. So kind of interesting. I mean, and I think we saw things on the other side of the coin as well. People, these businesses spend a lot of time and energy to bring people here to get the booth to do all that type of stuff. There was many times where you just saw somebody in the booth like on their phone, not doing anything.
Yeah,
That's it.
Yeah,
you gotta be interactive. You gotta be. Well, I was having this conversation with another vendor that outside sales, that art was dying before COVID and then was murdered and is over. There's no one doing outside sales properly, or few doing outside sales properly, and it's like much like fleet management, the education of it, there kind of needs to be a little bit of a sales class to get people back involved in this. Because you can't sit in your booth on your laptop answering emails. They're important, don't get me wrong, but managers to these vendors, if you're sending staff to the show they're unavailable on the expo floor. You
What's that?
cannot be blowing up their phone and making them respond to you. That is not the important thing. That show floor is the people that are there is the important thing.
Right.
And yeah, be active, be interactive. You don't have to spend the $20,000 on the huge booth. I mean, obviously, if you do, that's great. But if your people are personable and not a sales pitch, I don't want a pop up ad of a person as I walk through the show floor. I want someone that's chatting with me. What's going on in life? Hey, did you see this? You know, do a little research in the area that you're in and have fun with it.
Yeah, the best part I think to represent your brand or whatever is have conversations and not be sales.
Yes.
Like as soon as somebody tries to be salesy, it's immediately gets turned off.
100%.
If nobody asks you what are your goals and your challenges, what's going on with your fleet.
Right.
Once you ask that, like what my job is not in sales, but when I ask that to people, they give me a look like if they don't know me, like,
Right.
do you care about my fleet? I'm like, yeah, I actually want to learn about your fleet.
And you made a great point because we were talking with a fleet manager. I don't want to say her name or her situation, but we ran into Mark when we were talking with her. He didn't mention anything about a FIMS, FMIS, whatever. He just said, "Hey, how's your fleet? What's going on?" We were talking about fleet, how many assets, how many technicians, and it's just like almost 3,000 assets and 9 technicians. How do you manage that? So
Yeah.
it's hard, but she's explained how she's getting funding for things and how that's working now. I would say one of the biggest standouts. This isn't me kissing ass or anything. The escape room.
Yeah.
Oh,
Was these classes this year? Not only this, I mean that was great. These classes this year were impeccable. There was not one class that I went to where I was like, "Oh, this is boring." Every class, every discussion was meaningful, had impact. It was great. Your escape room thing they did with
Bradley.
Bradley.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Was
Shout
one
out
of the
Mr. Northrup.
Yeah.
funnest, most interactive, meaningful classes events that I've done.
She did give you a couple of looks like, what's going on?
It was crazy.
It was not as, you know,
It was,
Brad-
yeah.
Bradley and I briefly talked. And there are some things that, the thing is that if you make it too easy, then anybody can figure out it's too easy.
Right.
If it's harder, that's the reason that Bradley said, don't sit with people who know.
Right.
Because you have to mix up your level of knowledge
Right.
of fleet. Because if you didn't know how to do some of this fleet path, you're not gonna figure it out.
Right.
So there we've talked about a couple things. I'm not gonna get too far ahead of it, but we've talked about really changing some things up. It's his baby. He came up with it. You know, I told him I'd be there to help him, but we've got some pretty interesting.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I can't wait to do it again. And
Oh,
I
yeah.
really think that this is something that other conferences need to rip off and duplicate
100%.
because
You
that
should trademark it, Brad. You should trade.
yeah, Bradley, get on that. You know, throw a little thing together because we need to, you know, throw some coin your way because that is an absolutely brilliant use of time. Super interactive, and
Everybody was involved.
everyone was
Oh,
involved. Everyone
Oh, yeah.
learned something. Everyone learned something that they didn't know that they didn't know that they didn't know about.
Yeah.
Like it was kind of very well rounded. It really covered everything.
So I was in another session that was on remarketing vehicles, and I find it very interesting. You guys go through this stuff all the time. In the industry that I deal with, remarketing is very difficult. So it was a good presentation. The two people that were doing it, it was definitely a very yin and yang personality. One person was the data, the process person, and the other person, I called it almost like the announcers for a football game, right? You had the color commentator, and then you had the guy doing the play-by-play. The cool thing that they did was they gamified it as well, and they had people from the audience participate. They did Amazon gift cards, which who doesn't want something from Amazon? And they got people involved.
Yeah.
And I think that just breaks it up. I do think that contradicted it to the present keynote this morning. I did like the guy, definitely heard some good takeaways, but that was a little overboard, especially first thing on the third day. A little too much.
It was a lot.
extraction.
It was a lot.
But
yeah.
to get back to the show floor, crazy thing that I learned about, which I never even knew that happened. I don't deal with FMCs or anything like that, but this company, Kunin or something like that, had like a rent-a-tech program. So bringing it to the small fleet industry, what I saw was, hey, I only have a budget for 2 technicians. Okay, we obviously know that I even ran into a redundancy problem. So reaching out and having a relationship with these people on an annual basis to backfill during vacation, right? So you tease them in a little bit like that. You use them, you build a relationship, and then God forbid somebody goes out on injury or whatever. Now you have that relationship already built in place where you can call, bring somebody in. They were certified technicians. Now they're not going to be as great as your day-to-day technicians and familiar with the product, but you have somebody that's certified. They provide their own insurance, workers' comp, all that type of stuff. They provide their own tools. I mean,
Give me my question.
yeah, tools. They literally have a road service truck, and they have contracted technicians. Now, we can talk about it a bunch of different ways. I am sure, and I didn't get into the nitty gritty with this guy, but I'm sure it's very expensive. But just recently, I evaluated some labor rates from the local Ford shop that I go to. They're up to $253 an hour. So $253. And you have to do the transportation back and forth. Now, the Ford dealership that I've been working with, they'll do transportation, but we always talk about like opportunity cost, opportunity risk. I mean, your vehicle is still being number one driven by somebody that's not an employee. So the Ford shop obviously, picks up that part of, the insurance and stuff like that. But now it's the 10, 20, 30-mile drive from your shop to their shop and then back that you have exposure to those vehicles. So I thought this rent-a-technician was
Is there like
pretty
a,
cool.
a minimum or a maximum of time?
I didn't really get into it that deep with the guy. He did say, they provide, housing and food and all that type of stuff. I mean, pretty much all you have to do is provide the technician. But the woman that we were speaking with from the other sheriff's department, they said that they have made a deal with the local OE, and they have one of their technicians in their shop 7 days a week, using NAPA or IBF parts and working on kind of whatever comes through the door, even though they are a brand specific technician. So when we look at these technician shortages and different things like that, as we need to day by day as a fleet leader, you have to be creative. You have to take the blinders off. You have to think outside the box.
Here's a funny story I don't think I've ever told you guys. When I was the fleet manager at Ormond Beach, somewhat rednecky part of it. Sorry, guys. The Ormond Beach, Daytona Beach, Holly Hill area. We had, this is no joke, we had a contracted technician in our facility. Punchline. He was the mayor of Holly Hill, our neighborhood.
Really?
That's freaking cool.
Mayor.
That's wild.
And so it was interesting because he was badass too, like old school dude. Like he had his big truck parked outside with everything. He could weld. He could do anything. And so by night he was mayor. By day he was a sublet vendor at the neighboring. And there was always this. He would go back to Holly Hill, and when he was in council, then he would be talking about our fleet and the things that I was doing. And why can't we run our fleet here like them over there? And that was a sore spot for them.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, I like this concept.
That's interesting. Yeah.
Another cool thing that's fresh at NAFA Cleveland I&E 2026 was the I&E Garage, which I thought was pretty cool,
Very
right?
good,
And I think the new approach I&E has brought to the industry is it's not a fleet leader only conference.
Yep.
Supervisor level, shop foreman level, there's technician based training. There's
And this was the first year for tech training also, which I haven't heard reviews on it, but everything that I looked at in the pre-conference, it looks like they had some pretty reasonable, like good training coming in.
right.
So
And that was the whole fleet management 101 thing that I did, right? Which is like, it's what happens. It's, hey, you're a good technician. Congrats. You're a supervisor. Hey, you're a good supervisor. Hey, you're not a fleet manager. Then you get to those different places when you're a supervisor, you realize you don't have the skills. Then you go to the next stage, and the skills that you were just acquiring, now you need more. So I think those people coming here, it's a must. It has to be.
This woman from Illinois, they were talking about one of her technicians made the top 5 technician award. And they were talking about how they promoted him to a shop. He applied and they promoted him to a shop foreman. position. And then after being in the position for a little bit of time, he said, you know what, this isn't for me, right? So I think when you go to train technician level employees, it's important to give them that little bit of exposure because this guy played a great interim fleet leader position, even though he said, hey, being a leader of people isn't my thing.
Mhm.
He's really like that point person, and you can give him that kind of foundational institution because maybe on try one, it wasn't his thing, but maybe 4 or 5 years down the road, either another position opens up or that one becomes vacant again. So I thought that was a cool story.
Well, I think we're missing the biggest part of NAFA so far is the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame event.
Oh,
That
That was a good event. Yeah.
Probably one of the best events I've been to for a NAFA. I love music, so that's probably why, but one of the best events I've been to for a NAFA. That was a great.
And also, shout out to the Monday lunch. I'm still
Look,
digging
the
chicken
lunch,
tenders.
everything.
oh,
here.
tendies. Give me some tendies.
This guy,
Tendies.
the corn dog guy. We don't have a corn dog.
I know. No, well, yeah, they didn't have any. There were no corn.
No
dogs, so
corn
that was
dogs. Everybody, the lunch here has been great. I mean, that
Yeah.
with the drinks,
the food's been good. Like NAFA stepped it up. I know food is always a big issue because
Right.
budgeting and everything.
But
Yeah, it's always a pain like for the big conferences for food and everything because we know that that's a multi-$100,000 expense. But they definitely stepped up their game,
Yes.
and I really hope that they keep it up there because that, unfortunately, and through other conferences that I've gone to, you lose a ton of people if the food is no good. People are not going to be active. They're not going to be interactive. The evening event in the expo hall, absolutely great. Very well attended. It was a ton of fun. And thank you to the vendors and everything. You guys make it possible for this industry to thrive and be able to teach. If we didn't have the vendor support, and this is, coming from someone that's on regional council, council,
I mean, I'm on the NAFA Government Affairs Committee.
he's on a freaking council, you're on a council. Like, yeah, we're all active in the group of NAFA, but yeah, without the support of our sponsors and support of our vendors, these events don't happen. It way too expensive to be able to do this without the support. So thank you to all of you guys.
Yeah, I saw a lot of Elvis memorabilia in there, which I've never seen before. Chuck Berry. I mean, there was all kinds of
Dude,
good
they
stuff.
had the whole outfit from freaking Biggie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
Up in the area that you are not allowed food or beverages.
Ooh.
Yeah, I've watched a lot of people get in trouble over there. That was a good time. Yeah.
But did they have some sort of? I heard some stories about some garage band stuff.
So
Was there like
upstairs,
instruments?
we
set up?
stayed in the basement.
Yeah.
There was like 5 stories to the place
You
that
didn't go
they
all the way
opened up. I didn't go all the way
Yeah,
up.
I hit all the floors.
So
And there was different fruit on every floor.
yeah.
Come on.
That's why I was
I
like,
missed
Dude,
I
you know
missed out.
Big Belly
I'm-
needs some food. You should have texted me.
I thought you guys had gone upstairs. I started going upstairs and I was getting excited. There was like, yeah, if you go one more up, there's like sausage and pierogies. I was like, I'm in.
Dude,
I did miss the pierogies, man. Obsessed me.
Bro,
this is a letdown by Facundo.
the
dude.
lady,
This is like
you got
the brother.
I went upstairs and the lady was like, there was 2 pierogies, or there was like maybe I can't remember, like 2 pierogies and a couple of sausages, and I was like, look, am I gonna break any rules here if I ask for more sausages? And she's like, no, she grabbed a handful of sausages. And was like, I was like, I like that lady.
All right. Well, what else did you see on the upper decks?
There was gnocchi and chicken.
I think he's talking about memorabilia stuff.
I was looking at
He's
food.
all over the food.
Yeah.
Yeah, big food guy over there.
Honestly, I wasn't looking around at all the memorabilia. I mean, I was walking around and looking at it, but I probably definitely did not appreciate it as much as I should have. Let's see, but there was the little garage. There were some people that I know that were singing and on a guitar. There was a room that you could actually play the drums.
I saw videos of the drum stuff. That looked pretty cool.
Yeah.
Cleveland's crying that they're getting ready to leave.
Spring is just
I don't. Anybody here musically talented? I
play the
don't.
drums. Yeah.
You do. Interesting.
I sold my my kit when we had Jackson. We had my oldest, so yeah, I have played drums.
Yeah.
That's it. Well,
Nice.
But I'm a failure at music.
I love music. I really
That makes
appreciate
sense.
it. We were actually talking today on the expo floor about how amazing music can change your attitude. Right? Like you put on some good tunes when you're down or when you're aggravated, or just like using music to really chill you out. And I love it. And all kinds of stuff. Live music's kind of a big thing for me. And I love even when you're at a bar and it's like unexpected and maybe the music isn't that great. But you know what? At least there's somebody up there giving it hell, and you're like, you start to sing along with them. Not a big karaoke fan. I heard people did karaoke the other night. I'm like, I don't know.
I think what we wrapped this up on is what we just ended up doing was the bike build off the donation thing. That was awesome. And I will say, it's a little touchy feely for me, but as a kid who grew up in Cleveland, having to get like toys donated or food donated to like do holidays and stuff like that, to be able to do that to give back to my community where I came from was
That's cool.
just like all lined up. It was very touching.
That's very
It
cool.
was very interesting what I was doing. I felt a certain way.
And not
You
to
tried to ride the
brag.
bike too.
I did. We have a picture
Oh
somewhere.
it'll be up on our LinkedIn
Uh-huh.
profile here within the next week. We'll have a lot of pictures coming out.
A little bit of context. How tall are you?
6'3".
6'3". The bike was what, maybe a foot off the ground?
It was like
It was a 12-inch bicycle.
Yeah, training.
We had the small boy bike down there.
Yeah.
Not to
That was
brag
great.
or anything, but we did get our bike done first and successfully completed first because
Didn't fail the inspection.
we had to make some adjustments, but the guy was really like gorilla strength
I-
yanking that stuff
I
around.
saw-
I'm like, there's not a little kid that's gonna be hitting the bars like that.
You guys seen like Seinfeld, like the soup Nazi?
Oh my
That guy
God.
was the bike.
That was the guy?
He was the bike
Dude.
He was passionate about his bikes.
He was.
Wanted to keep the kids of Cleveland safe.
No,
was
I'm the only
heavy-handed.
person that when I go to like Chipotle that I feel that way.
Oh yeah.
They're like,
Oh, yeah.
what do you want? Burrito or bowl? And you're like, and they're like, come on, yeah.
100%.
Yeah, and then I piss him off, and I'm like, quesadilla.
Oh yeah. Look,
They get so mad.
you can order it through takeout. I
Oh
can't-
no, I order it when I walk in
Oh,
there,
they
and they're
don't
like, "Oh, we can't do that. It's up through takeout." And I'm like, "That's cool. So that means you can do it. Let's do this."
Let's make it happen.
Yeah, let me walk back outside and order it. I'll be right back.
Yeah.
I think, when we all review the entire conference, I think that's something important to put in there about giving back, because I thought that was something that
Yeah.
we had talked about weeks ago in an email, and we were like, yeah, let's do that. I mean, if there was some little event or something like that they do each and every time, I think that'd be kind of
And
cool. Makes you feel
I was really happy with the attendance of it.
Yeah.
Because there was way more people that showed up than I think they were expecting, because you did have to sign up early. If you didn't sign up like a week ago, they didn't know how many bikes to buy. However, they all got built. They all got built well.
Yep.
And everyone down there had a smile on their face and was having
Yeah.
fun. So definitely more of that.
right.
Allow us to give back to the community, keep that interaction going, because some fleets, don't get the opportunity. Some of them are private, and they don't reflect and work in the public like that. And so, yeah, definitely a cool thing.
I'm gonna put that in my application for Fleet Professional Year. Donated time.
Yeah. Also,
Ooh, I like that.
yeah, also all of the fleet managers and everyone out there, fleet manager or not, when applications open up, Mikey V is the official sanctioned person that we're all voting for and all putting in for. So 100 Best Fleets open up next year. Fleet Professional of the Year.
All right,
Big
Troy,
money.
why don't we wrap up on one of the favorite things?
All right, I'll do it first.
Yeah.
Escape class.
So we go this way. Okay.
Escape class was my favorite thing because you got to work together with people. It was so much fun to just network and do things like that, and it gave you different perspectives of doing things. It was put on by some of the brightest minds of Fleet, no doubt about it. That's my favorite thing.
The camaraderie. It was so great, and I had heard about this a few years ago. I've only been coming to NAFA for 4 years now, and the first 2 years were very difficult because I didn't know anyone. I didn't have that group yet, and now I don't feel that I missed anything, but I did miss a handful of classes because I ran into people to talk to that the conversation started and the conversation bloomed, and then it was like, we've been here for 45 minutes. And so, yeah, just getting to see all the fleet people.
Yeah, I think for me, I've spent, you guys know this, a lot of time on LinkedIn and building whatever it is, my company's brand, my brand. And recently I've noticed like it's having an impact, but it's having the impact in the way that I hoped it did. Because building a brand, I'm like, what am I really doing this for? And I was, people were coming up to me like, hey, we're connected on LinkedIn, and that's cool. But the really cool thing was I met with like 4 or 5 different people that I met through LinkedIn that connected with me, that liked the things that I'm saying. And we had an engaging conversation about fleet, and they asked my opinion about things. And I think I was able to give them some good feedback. But then I was also able to add, which what I always talked about was relying on your network, which is like, look, I think this, but I think based on what you're doing, I think you should talk to my buddy, whatever. Let me make an introduction.
And you have a great slide on that.
Yeah, exactly. Relying on your network, right? So I think for me, it was finally, I don't know, I've been really pushing on LinkedIn for the last, 10 years, more than that, but 10 years. And I would say pushing pretty hard for the last 3 years. And it's kind of like it's a long way, but it's starting to pay off.
It's ramped up. You've ramped up a ton though past year.
Yeah.
I gotta say, like, yeah. So
that was the
I think the educational content was my favorite. I think when I went to finally log into the planner, it was difficult to figure out the classes. I think I definitely wanted to attend your Fleet 101 session. Number one, to support each other. I think that's huge, right? I mean, going into that, and again, kudos on that class. You put a ton of time and energy into it. You put a ton of time and energy into building your confidence to be a public speaker and finding different tips and tricks. And, I think that's a great thing and something that, I really could learn from you. But it was hard to really pack in all of these classes and make some good decisions on what classes were going to make an impact on your day-to-day life. I do think, and this was something I kind of talked about on the vendor floor with some of the vendors, I think that they could potentially structure the time on the expo floor a little bit different. Monday was super class heavy. Like after the end of the day, Monday, I was kind of drained, right? It's like the first day. So maybe Monday's a little 50-50. Tuesday can be like fully expo floor. And then Wednesday, kind of do expo floor and then classes after. I know people like to leave on Wednesday, but as far as the vendors are concerned, I heard from a bunch of different vendors, like a lot of people left on Wednesday. So how do they kind of pull people in on Wednesday to maybe book that later flight? What do they put in that kind of hooks people on Wednesday? But I think something that we can all laugh about just to kind of really, put the stamp on this. And Facundo missed out, unfortunately. The race car driving. The race car driving was amazing.
that was such a good time. We were really legitimately going to try to get together and do a short boys clip of us racing. That was such a good time.
Who won?
Okay, I
Oh.
won. No,
Cheating.
listen. I won the comedy contest. So
Yeah.
let me preface it for everybody that wasn't able to see it. It was a small track inside the expo floor. There was 4 or 5, whatever it is, 25 scale NASCAR vehicles, which they handled pretty good and the performance was good. So I did appreciate the interactiveness between the steering wheel and everything.
It was very reactive. It was very
Yeah.
quick. It wasn't a cheap setup. Yeah.
Right. But when you got to your steering wheel, there was a small placard that was at the top right of where your controls were. And when I looked at mine, I didn't identify the car that I was driving very well. So for half the race, I was trying to drive Matty Diamond's car.
That's funny.
And it took for him to notice that when I was turning, his car was moving. He's like, dude, you're driving the wrong car. And I was dying laughing for like 20 minutes. So, a huge thing that we've had all week is the interaction with our peers, learning from our peers, the camaraderie. We've had a lot of laughs, that's for sure.
It's definitely been a good time. Appreciate you boys being out here. appreciate the donation of a nice corner room.
Oh yeah.
You know, we've got a nice background here, and
I can see it. I hope.
but yeah, thank you all for coming and hanging out with us on the Unfleet Not Just podcast. We're not
Whatever
just
we're
Fleet
calling it
podcast.
now.
It's one of them.
It's been so long since I've done this. Yeah. Bye.
Bye.